The stunning beauty and elemental flavors of the Aegean Islands evoke something almost primordial in us, something ancient and timeless. The simplest, most vibrant foods, such as Syros' chopped parsley salad, yellow split pea and herb keftedes over married capers, and fish wrapped in grape leaves, speak tomes for the pared-down cuisine of the islands. I am being tempted by the siren call of the flavors of the Aegean. Join me on my Greek table as I explore the dishes and ingredients that make Aegean cuisine so seductive. To so many people, Greece is her islands. From iconic locales like Santorini to my ancestral island of Ikaria, Greece's islands are the stuff of picture postcards. Ancient stone monuments and whitewashed houses sparkling under a bright sun, a timeless contrast to the deepest blue sea in the world. There are over 100 inhabited Greek islands in the Aegean, and thousands more unpopulated parcels of land. Each one unique, but there is also a startling sense of unity among them. More than a few islands share common fruits and vegetables. Cheeses, while distinct, also run in common threads. Goats, the humble pig, and seafood have always been major sources of protein, but so have the ancient chickpea and dried yellow split peas. The islands of the Aegean are a mosaic of fascinating foods, wines, and spirits that together make up one of the richest regional cuisines in Greece. One of the best reasons to travel the world is to taste all the amazing foods on the planet. Some of my favorite foods come from the Aegean Islands. Fennel cheese, marathotiri, volaki, these are both from the island of Tinos. This cheese is one of my favorites because whoever named it had a good sense of humor. It's called arseniko, from the island of Naxos. The word means masculine, and it is so named because this is a very hard cheese. Of course, it's got a partner in crime called thiliko, which is a softer cheese. And this cheese is an aged anthotiro, that's a whey cheese, and it's nice and pungent and sharp and hard. This is one of the most traditional cold cuts. We call it lunza. It sounds Italian, and it has a story that's related to the Venetian presence on these islands, which is how the locals learned to make this. It's basically a cured pork. These are caper berries. These are a really beautiful small artichoke from the island of Tinos. And this is just a lovely eggplant condiment, also made on the island of Tinos. And all of these are in a category called mezedes, small tidbits that you always share with other people. I'm going to make one of my favorite mezedes for you. It's called maidano salata. It's basically a parsley spread. We just start by cutting up my bread. These are dried bread cubes. You can use any stale bread for this. I want to get my parsley in here. A lot of the islands in the Cyclades were once governed by the Venetians. You can still actually taste traces of their presence in some of the recipes. And this is one of them. It's very similar to an Italian pesto, not made with basil, but made with parsley and garlic and capers. I want to get my parsley pureed. The next thing to go in here is the dried bread and a couple of garlic cloves, just giving them a rough chop. I'm going to process this on and off for a few minutes with liquid going into it to soften everything up. a little bit of olive oil. This dish really is a great example of Italian aromas meet Greek aromas, because what is going into this next? Lemon juice. If you get a couple of pits in there, just pick them out, no worries. Onions, red onions, a Greek favorite. They do tend to be a little more pungent than white or yellow onions, but they're interchangeable. And my Cyclades capers, one of the telltale ingredients that let you know you're having a dish from the Aegean. A little bit more lemon juice. This is a sharp pesto. It's nice and robust. The capers, the garlic, no cheese, but lots of lemon juice. Let me just get my seeds out here. A little salt and pepper. The capers are salty, so you want to be a little bit careful. As I pulse this on and off, I'm going to add my olive oil and vinegar. A touch of red wine vinegar, and the rest of this olive oil. I love this dish. It's as alive as you feel when you're on the Greek islands. I'm gonna build myself an Aegean meze plate. I am being tempted by the siren call of the flavors of the Aegean. And the first thing I'm gonna try, of course, is my parsley salad. This is bright and sharp and unabashedly sour, but delicious. And it's calling out for something that's not Greek wine. It's a little bit more mischievous. It's called rakomelo. It's a grape distillate heated with honey. The rakomelo goes down like honey. And it goes beautifully with everything on this plate. Everything here is as unique as each of the Greek islands that it comes from. Aegean. Today I'm making one of the all-time classics from the Greek islands, split pea patties. We call them favokeftedes in Greek. And you find them in Santorini, Nusa, some of the smaller islands. The yellow split pea has always been a seminal food in that part of Greece, and something that people have been cooking with for a very long time. In addition to fava, I'm also adding onions. And I just like to cook them up a little bit before I add them to the puree. I've got my fava, my yellow split pea, ready. I've basically just boiled this with a little bit of water, let it cook down until it's almost the consistency of mashed potatoes. And as it cools, it becomes really dense. You can see that. You can almost cut through it with a knife. It doesn't even fall off the spoon. On the Greek islands, usually wild fennel goes into this. I'm using dill today because that's a lot easier to find and just as tasty. Let me see what's happening here with my onions. Those are pretty much ready. I really just want them to get soft. Getting my onions in here and all that nice olive oil. I'm just gonna give that a stir. Season it with salt and pepper next. This fava comes from Santorini, volcanic terroir, and when you taste it, you really get a sense of the minerals that are in the soil. It is so unique. And a little bit of cinnamon. It smells great. I'm going to add enough flour to this so that the mixture holds together. There's no egg. Do your flour in increments so that you can judge how much you need. You want to be able to shape the patties, and you want the patties to hold their shape when you do that. So I'm going to test one now. Still a little bit, it's almost there. It's a little bit soft. These are perfect. Just need to get a little olive oil in my skillet. To make the split pea keftedes, you basically want to take about a heaping tablespoon of this mixture, shape it into a fairly thick patty. It's about an 1.5 or 2 inches in diameter, and fry them up in hot olive oil or vegetable oil. They take around 2 minutes aside. There are a lot of vegetable fritters like this throughout the Greek islands, and they're all really indicative of the landscape, of the geography, of what grows in each individual island, because each island has its own unique character. These don't take very long to cook. You want to drain them on paper towels. To go with my fava keftedes, I'm making a very traditional topping from the island of Santorini called kaparokoumba. A little bit of extra virgin Greek olive oil. Sometimes there's a little bit of humor infused into the names of Greek recipes. When you serve fava, usually the puree of fava, with the scallion, garlic, tomato, caper topping, it's called pandremeni fava, which basically means married, because the sauce and the puree live in the same serving bowl. So when I join my fava keftedes to the caper sauce, I like to think of it as they're just living together. I want to keep an eye on the scallions because they cook up quickly. Give that a stir. The next thing that's going in here are my Santorini tomatoes. Now you can use fresh tomatoes for this, or you can use canned. Just get that stirred around. I want that to get nice and thick. I've got my sun-dried tomatoes soaking just in plain water here to soften them up. These add a really nice tang that goes nicely, I think anyway, with the capers. This sauce takes just a couple of minutes. Just gonna get this stirred up. Just a little bit of Greek sea salt. Not too much because the sun-dried tomatoes are tangy. A little bit of pepper. I'm gonna add just a drop of this tasty sun-dried tomato water. This is what they were soaking in. I'm going to add my Santorini capers, a splash of red wine vinegar, and this is ready. And I like to get a little bit of sauce, kind of as a bed on the bottom of this. A few of my keftedes over that. 5 is nice. I love the tomatoes that have burst open too. That's where all the flavor is. And this is a marriage based on true love. And I'm gonna love the first bite. I'm totally sure of that. Just a little bit of my sauce. And kefte. This is a great first course. It's inexpensive, it's beautiful, it's easy to make. The entire Aegean is distilled in this humble dish. The best of all is that the sparkle of that cinnamon and the freshness of that dill just lights everything up. But the tomatoes, the capers, the sun-dried tomatoes really make this a match made in heaven. Whenever we think of the Aegean Islands, what comes to mind? Fish. Greece has one of the largest coastlines in the world. It's always been a maritime country. Fishing is one of the oldest professions here. This is a recipe that kind of developed as a result of my own personal experience. It's not from a particular place, but it brings together some of my favorite Greek ingredients. A little bit of olive oil right in the pan. And layering my potatoes first. I like to bake the fish on a bed of vegetables. You want to just get these in here any which way they fit. You can overlap the slices. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I like to flavor my fish with a little bit of fennel. Fennel grows wild everywhere in the Greek islands, and it's used in all sorts of dishes. I'm just gonna cut this in pretty thin slices. Just wanna get a little bit of olive oil over my potatoes, layer a little bit of fennel. This is all gonna bake together with the fish and give it that Greek island identity. I like to add tomato both for color but also for moisture. You want to use a firm, ripe tomato for this. And just get it strewn over the surface of the fennel. A little bit of sea salt, pepper. Fish and rosemary are natural partners. They taste wonderful together. I want to get everything ready now to stuff inside the cavity of the fish. I'm just going to cut the fennel into thin strips. I just want to get my parsley and thyme snipped. And ditto on the thyme and fresh oregano. I want to just get these woody stems off. It's best to do this with fresh herbs. The aroma is a little bit more subtle, and that always works best with fish, which is very delicate. Now I'm ready for my grape leaves. You want the vein side to be on the inside, so that when you wrap the fish, the smooth side is on the outside. And what I like to do is just place these down. I have a beautiful sea bream, fagri in Greek. I'll season it with a little salt on both sides. The grape leaves will also lend a really interesting flavor to this, that intense briny flavor. A little bit of pepper right over the top. And right into the cavity, some fennel. If the herbs spill out a little bit, not to worry. I just kind of bunch them up. And you want to get a couple of grape leaves right over the top. Keep the head exposed. And if you can keep the tail exposed, that also looks really nice once you bake the fish. And basically just wrap it. There we go. Lift it very carefully. Fish is delicate. And I'm just gonna get a little olive oil over this. Lemon and fish and grease are always together. And this lends both a beautiful color, but also that citrus, that beautiful citrus astringency, the freshness. And I just place these right over the top of the fish. And one more ingredient, a spritz of ouzo. That kind of plays off of the anise, that licorice scent in the fennel. Just want to make sure there's enough moisture in here so that the potatoes and the fish cook without drying out. So in addition to the ouzo, just a little bit of water. And just a little water right over the grape leaves. I just spritz a little bit on with my fingers to keep them moist while this bakes. The rule of thumb for baking and roasting fish is around 10 minutes a pound. This is gonna bake for about a half hour at 350. Any kind of simply cooked fish in the Greek kitchen calls for a very simple dressing, a classic, ladolemono. It's basically lemon juice and olive oil, and the recipe is always 1 part lemon juice, 3 parts olive oil. Now, I always add a little bit of mustard, Greek sea salt, and a pinch of black pepper. The acid always goes in first, and then you slowly add the olive oil, whisk, and that is what makes the emulsion. This is usually passed around a table with a spoon in it, and people drizzle as much as they want over their individual serving. Wow, this really looks great. I just want to remove the crinkly grape leaves and my lemon rounds. Oh man, this looks so good. Just want to be a little careful because the fish is very delicate. It smells amazing. This is Greek drama. I want to get my vegetables served up. Beautiful. Wow. This looks awesome to me. It really does. I can't wait to eat this. Anywhere you cook this is going to make you feel like you really are on an Aegean island. My ladolemono is so fragrant, I can almost drink it. This is the essence of the Aegean. So beautiful. Fish is so flaky. It is so tender. It is so elegant. I'm getting a little tiny bit of that anise. So it's almost on the sea breeze. The potatoes, the tomatoes all work really nicely in here. The olive oil and lemon juice provide this beautiful, velvety, unctuous mouthfeel, and that goes beautifully with this Sirtico white wine. It's got beautiful minerality. This is from the island of Santorini, and it goes perfectly with this wonderful fish. Aegean. Happy sailing.